I'm Barry Tramel, and I say it doesn't matter if Taylor Martinez plays quarterback for Nebraska on Saturday.
I think it'll make a huge difference for Nebraska if he's available. From the Opubco Studios in Oklahoma City, you're watching the Press Row. I'm Jenni Carlson. Barry, I saw this guy with my own eyes. Saw him in Stillwater, saw what he did to the Cowboys. He obviously had a passing day for the ages. We may never see him throw the ball like that again. But this guy plays at a different level than anybody else Nebraska has suiting up at quarterback. If he plays Saturday against Oklahoma in the Big 12 championship game, I think that's a huge advantage for Nebraska.
Well, I think he's obviously their better quarterback. And, they've got three guys with experience. They've been using Cody Green this year in place of Martinez. And last year, Zach Lee was the quarterback. He's still around. So they've got a lot of quarterback experience. Martinez clearly the best. However, I don't think it's going to be enough, even a healthy Martinez, to beat Oklahoma. And Martinez has not been playing well. You're right, Jenni. In Stillwater, he was fantastic. Against Kansas State, he looked like, Jamel Holloway or somebody. Couldn't tackle him. But he has not played well down the stretch. He's been injured down the stretch, and he's gotten into tiffs with his coach down the stretch. That does not seem like a recipe for success in the Big 12 title game, even if he's able to play. So I don't think that the difference now between Taylor Martinez and a Cody Green is all that much.
Now listen, when I say advantage, I'm not saying that Nebraska wins this game if Taylor Martinez is under center. I still think that Oklahoma wins on Saturday, even if Martinez plays. But this becomes a whole different ball game if he's on the field. Now, I'm also not saying that he's playing great ball, but I still think he's way ahead of anybody else that Nebraska has at quarterback. Even though those other guys have experience, I think that the sheer attention that he draws because of the ability to run gives Martinez a huge advantage over those other guys. Now, are some of those reserves, both those reserves, probably better throwing the ball? Yeah, I think you could say that. Although, as I said, there have been days when Taylor Martinez has been fantastic throwing the ball. But I do think his two-dimensional play, it's a whole different ballgame, something that the Sooner defense will have to guard against. And clearly they're practicing with the idea that he's going to be the guy, Barry. But still, I think the unknown, it's a little bit tricky. And then if you do throw Taylor Martinez out there, it also gives a surge, that adrenaline to Nebraska. They'll be feeling good about having their guy back on the field. I think that's going to be an interesting scenario on Saturday.
Well, what's interesting to me is how the Sooners would defend a healthy, viable Taylor Martinez. He's not your typical, he's not your typical scrambling quarterback. He's a guy that runs a lot, little zone read, shotgun option type of guy. Sooners have done pretty well against quarterbacks like that, unless you count Vince Young, and Taylor Martinez is no Vince Young. So I think this is a pretty good matchup for the Sooners. I think the Sooners would have trouble against a more throwing quarterback. I still don't buy Taylor Martinez as a passer, despite those big numbers against Oklahoma State. I think that was the anomaly. I think the Sooners will handle Nebraska fairly well. I think it'll be a close game, but I don't think the Husker offense will tear up the Oklahoma defense.
There's a lot of question about who's going to play quarterback for Nebraska. I've also got the question about who's going to show up and play quarterback for Oklahoma. Are we going to see the good Landry Jones that we've seen the last few weeks, or are we going to see the Landry Jones that had struggles from time to time this year? I think that Landry's turned a corner. I think we're going to see that better play out of him. I think we're going to see, even at Texas A&M, the second half of the Texas A&M game, he played a lot better than he had up to that point. He struggled at Missouri. First half at Texas A&M, not playing very well. But since then, he's been a lot better, a lot more steady. Yes, he had those 3 interceptions in the first half of Bedlam, but 2 of those are balls he's trying to make a good decision on and throw them away. And Oklahoma State's defense makes great plays on both those balls. So, yes, those were 3 interceptions, but I think you got to give some credit to Oklahoma State. I think that the good Landry Jones will show up, and that gives Oklahoma, in my mind, an advantage regardless of who Nebraska plays under center on Saturday. But it's clearly going to be an interesting turn to see who does trot out there for Nebraska at the start of that game. And stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.